Alright, welcome back. Working on the fuel tank stuff. So I put the fuel line, lock wired it to the clunk fittings, put them in. Because these inlets are in wrong, like this had to be broke to get it in. And this side, I was worried about it breaking through here because it has to flex so much to get these things in. But they're in. And so what I'm going to do to kind of hard mount them is there's a rib through here on both sides that can kind of conforms to the tank, so that when you push it in, it seats against that, and so it doesn't go anywhere that way. So the only thing you really need to do is hold it in the back and maybe put something over here. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a piece to go from here to the top to kind of, it's just to gives it a glue, have it touch the inlet and go all the way to the roof. And then I'll do a piece here vertically that essentially attaches either to this bulkhead or to this back piece where the wing tube comes in. That way if I ever need to remove it, I can. And that'll keep it from going forward, and that way you're taken care of. Ran the fuel lines up here to these guys. I'm going to connect them. These will be a connection point, so if I ever need to take this fuel tray out, I can just trim here. And then I did some tidying, took some lace tape. It's kind of hard to see there, and tied up it's easier to see this side, I think. Tied up the lights. These are all leads for the lights. That reminds me, I still need to run the throttle leads, but I may just have them come across the top. Because I'm going to have these big S-bus leads on top anyways, so that way I can kind of get to them, plus the telemetry wires. So I'll probably go ahead at this point, put in the equipment tray there. It's ready to go. You can use zip ties, or I'll just use some lace tape, kind of double loop to hold them in place. These things come with a big black rubber ring that you basically just latch it here and strap and pull it over and latch here. I don't recommend using it, because within a few weeks it dry rots and breaks, and then your UAT comes flopping loose. So zip tie it, or use some kind of string to hold it in. I wouldn't glue it. And you could use shoe glue, but it just makes it harder to get out. Plus shoe goop, if there's any fuel that gets on it, it basically dissolves at that point. So this is kind of ready to go in. Only thing I need to check once I put that in is the lead for the steering servo, because when the gear comes up, that servo basically goes and pushes up, and it sits up in that bay area back there. So you got to leave enough slack and clearance for that servo lead to move up and down, but you can't leave too much and unsecure it, because it could accidentally get wrapped around something, and then when the gear slams down, it pulls the servo lead out or keeps the nose gear from coming down. So you do need to pay a little bit of attention to that as far as operation. Maybe like before, I think I tied it to one side, kind of push it over here, leaving like the slack, sorry, it's hard to see, something like this, secured it on one side with enough slack for it to move up and down. So just pay a little bit of special attention to that when you're putting it together. But I'm getting there, just not as fast as I want. This stuff just takes time, and I get leaning over and looking and kind of hunching over in these places, and then my back starts killing me and my neck, so I have to take a break. And we're gonna go watch Ghostbusters tonight. Check that out, do some dinner, do a little family outing tonight. So I'm about kind of coming to a stopping point. So quick funny note, a friend of mine, Jace, he's actually friends with Ernie from the original Ghostbusters, and he was up in New York, because he lives up there most of the year. He's from the UK, so he kind of goes back and forth, but he was up there for the premiere at the Ghost House, or the Firehouse, and got to hang out with the director and Ernie from the movie and some of the other stars. Which I thought was pretty cool. So one of these days I'll get back up there and visit him again. I'll go check that place out. So anyways, you guys have a good one, and I'm gonna try to find something else to do before I call it an evening. I want to get that tray put in, I think. So that's kind of where I'm going to go to. I'm not going to hard mount these yet, just in case I have to take something back out. But I'm going to leave them. They're in there. They're plumbed. So if I don't need to take them back out, I won't. But if I will, at least I don't have to go cutting anything yet. So the last thing I'll kind of do is put that fuel center tank in, and of course hard mount these as well. So but you guys have a good one, and I'm going to get back to it. Cheers.